Scaling businesses is such an important thing, but people get it wrong the whole way. They only think of scalability as growth. It's wrong to think of scalability as growth. Scalability is such a different thing than growth, and people usually find themselves using the word scalability whenever they want to grow their business. They are tired. I named this the Goldilocks zone, just not the Goldilocks, the golden handcuffs business. You are doing enough money to sustain the business, to have enough employees, to whatever, but you cannot grow it because the system is broken. The business itself is broken. You don't have time. You don't have time to scale it. You don't have you don't have money. You don't have resources. You don't really have all the resources needed and all the expertise needed to solve that business to make it grow. And the problem is that the system itself, the business itself is broken, because from the beginning, you've built that business slowly as if it's like it's gonna grow by magic endlessly until a certain point, until you are happy with that business. But that's not scalability. Scalability is building a business from day one. That's the point. Let me reiterate what people get wrong about scalability. Scalability goes in both direction. It is more like a flexible thing. It can expand, it can contract. That's scalability. It's a process and a system that works, a system and a process of business that works at all levels. It works with one employee, one client, and it works with 1,000 clients and 1,000 employees. That's real scalability. And you can do it from day one by asking and mapping all of your actions to this one thing. Will this action apply to one client the same way? Would I do the same action for 1,000 clients? And is it sustainable and scalable? Or what would I change in order to have that? Because let's say you are trying to scale training of employees. It's absolutely impossible for one person to train 1,000 employees in a month. But if you do it one-on-one with one person and you film everything, then you can do 1 to 1,000 by filming that video and doing that. But then you have an issue of how do you take care of the scalability issue of knowing if the employee is properly trained. And then you put the onus of the responsibility, you delegate that responsibility to other employees, and they will learn more about the training. So they will have to teach someone else. Their task is once a week, they have to teach someone new and ask them question about the process, and so that they learn better, and the other person who's in the 1,000, they have to learn from someone else. And it's like a mentorship program. You are building in accountability and learning from each other. So you delegated the whole process of knowing if your employees are properly trained. And then you have the metrics and the results. And that's exactly what you base yourself, if you see if the employees are properly trained, you only see on the metrics, and if they do the same percentages as if you would have done a one-on-one coaching call with them. And that's the point. Things and systems and businesses that work with one client and one employee, if they are built right, they can work with 1,000 employees and 1,000 clients. That's what people get wrong about scalability. That's the whole thing. If you build your business so that it scales, it's so much easier. But the point that I'm trying to make is, you might hear this and you want to abandon the whole business that you've built. That's a cool thing to do. You can do it, do whatever you want. If you're sick of it, just abandon it and do something else. That's what most people do. They build such golden handcuffs that they get frustrated and they see how less free they have less freedom than an employee. And this happened to me, and it happened to some of my friends, and that's the whole point. You can abandon that, or you can restructure the whole system to be in place, to change everything. A lot of people will just go away because people do not like change. And your idea might be easier to just go and do something else entirely from the beginning. But take everything that you have from that business and everything that you learn, instead of demonizing that business, understand what went wrong, take it, and also what went right, because some things might have been super good, and the products and the templates and all the things, all the processes that are working so good in this business can make your business that scales and grows so much better. So you take that whole thing, instead of thinking it as a failure and as a bad thing, as a prison that you built for yourself as an entrepreneur, you take it and you build your new system on top of it or adjacent to it. You have a better foundation thinking from the beginning, because it's like, you might say it's fake it till you make it. It's not fake it till you make it, because if you build it, if you are doing it and it works with one employee, and you have 100% conviction that it will work with 100 employees or 1,000 employees, you built a system that works for 1,000 employees, like I explained to you about scaling up training. If you're with one person, it's super easy to stay with them and train them. But with 1,000 person, that doesn't work. So have the system from the beginning to do it for 1,000. It takes the same effort. That's the point. To build a system that is anti-fragile, that's the point. You build a business that is scalable and anti-fragile. No matter what happens, you can downscale, upscale. That's what scaling is. It is not only growth. It is flexibility. No matter the circumstances, the business will survive. You know exactly what to do, because the system that you've built can scale up with the business and down with the business no matter what. You have no problem and no problem with the scale. Most businesses, if they scale down to about, I don't know, 50%, they just go bankrupt. They cannot sustain a 50% loss, a 50% loss in revenue. That's a devastating thing. Why? Because they are scalable in just one way. They only know going up. So that's why they fail. People don't understand the scalability systems. It's going both ways, going towards the growth and also going towards scaling down. So you know exactly the system is built from the ground up to work with one person, 1,000 person, 10,000 persons. That's the whole point. And all of the businesses that have grown to scale tremendously, take any business that has grown tremendously, they have this to a T. They have everything just like that. No, it's impossible to grow to that scale without having systems like this. And that's the point. If you build them from the beginning, and it takes literally no more effort to do that standard operating procedure and put it in as if you were doing just a one-on-one call. It's the same amount of effort. It takes the same amount of time, but you get at the end of it a scalable system. People think that it's more effort to think and do a system that works for 1,000 people and one person. No, it does not take more effort. It takes the same exact amount of effort. That's the whole point. It usually just means pressing one more button. That's the whole difference. If you record a training session with an employee, you have that training session forever, and they have footage of every training session that you did, case by case by case, and with all the questions. And then you can send to another employee, to 3 employees, to 5, to 10, to 1,000. And then when something changes, you go back, you've changed some procedures, you understand more about business, you start training everybody or just a few key persons because that's why the scalability is so important. The people who are doing the accountability system, where they go with other employees and they ask them, what did you learn? They have to teach them something, the new employees, the trainers, let's say. They have a knack and a very good passion for teaching. You put them in a key role of training, and those people are the only ones who need to be trained. You film that training so that you make the whole process super easy. You just send it to all your employees who need that training, and the trainers go in and instead of doing the training, which is the bulk of the entire thing, they now have to work on role playing. They now have to work on sticking points that people didn't understand in the training. And that's how you scale. And it works for one person and for 10,000 people. That's the point. It has accountability in the system, by the system, and everyone benefits from that accountability. It's not like just over like looking and controlling and managing people from above and looking at them and controlling everything. No, the people who are teaching themselves, they are learning, and the people who are learning themselves, they need to teach. So the system really feeds itself so that people are not really in a gradual hierarchy, and that they don't put their ego first, because they know they've been in that situation, they had that same experience, and in 3 weeks they have to give the same experience. And if they can do it better, they can put an email, they can change the whole system from top to bottom. So every single person in the company can change the system if that system is proven to be. This is from Jeff Bezos, who says that you should talk last and listen to everybody if they are in the meeting that they should be. Because if you impose your will at the beginning, you will lack the best ideas. Will be like, no, Jeff, they will start to doubt you, because you already have this status, you are the boss and whatever, you said something, you know. But if you empower the people at the bottom, or the people who are in the trenches, to make changes to the top, to the absolute top, by empowering them, by putting them in the situation that their trainers were, 3 weeks later, 1 month later, 6 months later, you get the benefit of the person now needs to know the information that they have been trained on, to be able to actually give it to someone else, and they can also improve on the system. If they give an improvement on the system, you put a bonus on top of that. So the system really compounds on itself and scales, because you've put the incentives, you aligned incentives for growth. That's the whole point. You align all the incentives, all the actions map out to growth. So expansion and growth, that's what you need. And that's what people think that scaling is, but scaling is the opposite as well. So when you go smaller, the system can go down. Of course, you're gonna have to get rid of some people, and that's painful and that's bad, but you know exactly who to get rid of, you know exactly how to scale down, you know exactly, and in the best scenario, like the real best scenario here, is that you are going to get rid, you will know exactly how much staff you need to lay off, and that's the point. You are doing the least bad thing that you can do by knowing how to scale down and how to scale up your business. And that's how you scale down and up a business. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.